How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl. Oh, actually, it's not exactly the Liberty Bowl today. We're going to be uploading this on the Liberty Reborn channel. I'll probably be uploading it on the Liberty Bowl channel, later after I get off my strike banning. Apparently got struck down for old misinformation for basically reporting on other reporters. Right. Either way, that's besides the point. I'll be back on there in what is it, like 2 weeks, something like that. But what we're going to be talking about today is, as you guys know, I'm sure you guys are all seeing it, the controversy between Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire, right? And essentially, Crowder is being a big old man baby and stuff like that. There's nobody's refuting that point. But what we're going to be actually talking about today is the existence of Bigcon. Is Bigcon a real thing? And if so, is it Daily Wire? Is it, who is it? Is it Fox News? Like what is Bigcon? We're going to be talking a bit about that. We're also going to be talking about an article that came out where, basically Devin Nunes is saying, the Trump returning to Twitter and Facebook, it's a hoax, right? We're going to be discussing that. And we're also going to be talking about, Heels Up Harris teaching us about energons and electricitas and power grids and whatnots.
She's a regular old Nikola Tesla.
Right. She's going to break it down real simple for you guys, dude. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll get it. Right. But anyway, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Out here, enjoying, the fallout from the Crowder situation. You got one half in meltdown and the other half trying to, act like he's some type of martyr at this point.
Right.
So it's been a good last 48 hours.
All right. It's good times, man. Fucking, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely some eye-opening shit, of course, like we said, Crowder, ultimately is being a big old man baby. Ultimately, I'm sure neither of us are here to defend either Crowder nor the Daily Wire. Basically, like I said, we're not here to stick up for either one of them or say either one of them's right or wrong, anything like that. We're basically talking about, is big tech a real? Is Bigcon a real thing, and are they really in bed with big tech? But yeah, it's the Liberty Bowl. So as you guys know, before we get into that, we're gonna have to get into this real quick. Alrighty, so let's talk about. All right. So let's talk about what happened here. Let's start with the what. All right. So basically, I guess I'm not 100% on the timeline. I don't have anything written down right here, but I guess a few months beforehand, Crowder had ended his contract with the Blaze, and he was basically out looking for new contracts to sign with, because of course Crowder's always had a contract behind him. Crowder's never been independent in his entire life, right? So he's out looking for other contracts. He comes across the Daily Wire, and basically the Daily Wire is trying to say that Crowder has set everything up because of the timeline. I guess Crowder set up this whole Stop Bigcon. I think it was like beforehand, before even the meeting, anything like that. There's also the completely unethical part of Crowder recording, said conversation and then playing it for the entire internet. Basically, so Crowder set up this site beforehand, and then, basically went ahead and exposed the Daily Wire for this contract that, it does have some big tech censorship kind of, cucking and bow down to them. But at the same time, it's pretty damn fair. Any motherfucker out here would take that. I guess, we're not making Crowder money, so $50 million would be absolutely outrageous to us. Even 15% of $50 million would be completely outrageous to us, So, yeah, basically, is big tech is Bigcon a real thing? All right. What's your thoughts on that one, man?
I believe it's absolutely a real thing. I believe that the Daily Wire is the center of that world. Obviously, the largest conservative podcast on the planet, right? And the main attraction there, Benz, he is all about claiming to be a free speech absolutionist, except for if it offends him and certain religious beliefs. We know that Crowder worked for Fox. He worked for the Blaze, like you just said, and those are Bigcon. Those are obvious definitions of, right?
Right.
Also pretty obvious. It was a setup, like you said. It was, I think, back in August is when the original, negotiations took place or what have you. And, he set up this Stop Bigcon site, and then had, recordings ready to go to record Jeremy Boring for the conversation. Instead of going into the conversation like we're going to negotiate,
Right.
all he did was try to bitch about the parts of the contract that he didn't dig or what have you.
Right. Yep.
And if you listen to Candace, she says, through intermediaries that word on the street is he's difficult as hell to work with and treats lesser creators like shit. Has not Gay Jared under a non-disclosure agreement to where he can't even speak on his own employment.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously he doesn't believe in freedom of speech either. And, Crowder is an establishment Republican. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, I mean, he's ultimately, he might not be part of, big fucking con as far as he's not on Fox anymore. You don't see him on broadcast television. But, I mean, he's their buddy. I mean, how else are you going to get Dan Crenshaw on your YouTube show?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, fucking eye patches, McCain's and whatnot. Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So as you guys see, Crowder is trying to spin this as he's not about the money. It's not about the money at all. And I don't know. That's not really for us to speculate. Maybe it's about the money for him. Maybe it's not. But he's trying to spin it as basically he's being virtuous, and he's trying to look out for all these newer up and coming creators that are basically going to end up, they see a contract like this and I don't give a fuck what it says. I'm going to sign the bitch. That's $50 million right there, which of course, I doubt any of the other, content creators would even be offered anything close to $50 million. And that's purely, pretty much a Steven Crowder thing just because of the name that he is. But, he's trying to turn this thing around as he's a victim here. And that basically the Daily Wire is Bigcon. Right. And as you just pointed out, it's I guess it's kind of like fucking almost projection in a way, because as you just said, he's just as much Bigcon, just as much as the rest of them. Right. And, what Bigcon basically is it kind of exposes the whole controlled opposition part of the conservative movement and stuff like that. It's basically, okay, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about free speech, and we're going to sit here and talk about how, YouTube and big tech's so bad and all this and that. But at the same time, we're also going to go have dinners with them. We're going to have secret meetings with them and all this and that type shit. And another thing that is kind of interesting is, all of, these conservatives, like I said, I'm banned right fucking now. Right. But for some reason, people like the Daily Wire don't ever get fucking bans. They don't ever get strikes. They don't ever get anything. They don't get even touched by these big tech people, right? And same with like Fox News. I mean, the closest that they've ever came to touching Fox News is they removed Dan Bongino's show from YouTube, and that was just a strike. Then he decided to remove himself from YouTube, right? So a lot of these big legacy media, these big name news companies, they could very, very well be in bed fully with big tech. Okay, that being said, there's also the other possibility, which is basically that they're controlled opposition and they don't exactly know it, right? So as we know, the whole problem with conservatism and progressivism is, the progressives are going to try and do some fucking outlandish shit. They're going to try and change up the rules. They're going to try and make basically change up the rules so I can make new laws, shit like that. And the conservatives are going to say, rabble, rabble, rabble. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's unconstitutional. Blah blah blah. And this is how we should do it. And then it's going to end up going in the way of the progressive, right? And then that's going to be the new norm for the conservative. And then they're going to with the next thing. It's basically the way that it's gone for decades now. And that's why the Overton window has been moving consistently in the left, in the direction of left for decades now, right? So even if they don't know that they're being controlled opposition, just the fact that, because of course the conservative people, they're the people that play by the rules, right? They're the people that understand the rules. They're the people that, do everything. They cross all their T's, they dot all their I's, right? So of course, they're going to, okay, well, we can't get banned, so we guess we got to do what they say, right? So that's, I guess the okay to have, that type of moral and I guess ethical standing and stuff. But at the same time, it does also just kind of perpetuate the problem. It's just going to continue. It's just kicking the can down the road. So and of course, it's really hard to do anything without bowing down to the big tech, without, as you see, you're probably watching us on YouTube right now. All right. We're on YouTube just as much as everybody else. Right. But the whole thing is they also talk about this parallel economy all the time, right? They always talk about, like, oh, well, we're going to make our own fucking internet. We're going to make our own fucking parallel economies. We're going to make our own everything. Right. And then, they do it, and then they don't support it. They do it, and then like take Russell Brand for example. Russell Brand, when he first started doing his live streams, he said they are only going to be available on Rumble. You are only going to be able to see me live on Rumble. That lasted about a month. Like, he's now live streaming to YouTube. Like it's basically there's the principles. They're easily bought. Essentially. The way to get a fucking conservative to change his mind is just get between him and his money. You get between a conservative and his money, he'll do whatever the fuck you want. And,
yeah, and I think that all these cats that actually claim to be conservative, whether controlled or not, are the exact opposite. I mean, like you said, the Overton window's been moved so far to the left that they got Dave Rubin on.
Right.
And they act like he's a conservative. Like, in what way? I mean, you know what
right.
I mean? And again, apparently now they got a transcending human on the Daily Wire, which
Stunning
is
and
the
brave.
exact opposite. Yeah. And, they got their token in Candace. Other than that, I mean, there's, I don't see it. I really don't see any of them being conservative, other than the fact that they try to conserve the 90s establishment Republican political movement, man.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
And the ones that scream the loudest tend to be the more establishment types. Really.
Yep. And that's just...
And like you said, that's the reason we're both currently on suspensions here on YouTube.
Right.
Due to, I know my video, I literally didn't even speak in or make any claims or even put text that could be construed as making claims. You know what I mean? And then these guys can talk about things pretty openly and still be on here, let you know that they are hand in hand with, Susan Wojcicki and Mark Zuckerberg. And on top of that, Ben claims to be the most viewed conservative page on Meta. And it turns out that he actually paid for that status. He pays $125,000 a month, more than $1 million a year, to be the most viewed conservative platform on Meta.
Damn. All right, well, speaking of Meta, you want to go ahead and segue into our next segment here, or you got anything else you want to add on the whole big tech thing?
No, other than to tell people to come to BitChute and Rumble. Obviously, right. BitChute is the best. It's the only true 100% free speech streaming service there is. And, Rumble's good as far as, building with the parallel law. But, again, like you just stated, you really don't get support there without having an audience to bring with you from a different platform. It's going to be pretty dead in the water. Right.
And also, moral of the story, stay independent, dude. Stay independent, Don't sign fucking contracts, If anything, learn from the fucking musicians of basically, the past few decades, right? Basically, if you look at their music and shit like that, they come out with something really great, fucking they do some awesome fucking shit, some deep fucking art, some stuff that basically everybody could relate to, and then boom, they get signed, they make the fucking they produce the record and stuff like that, they go on tour and shit like that, and then they're contractually obligated to produce another one. Like, get to work, go start making music, make art, do art now, and essentially, anybody that's done any sort of art knows that art really can't be forced, it's basically what ended up kind of fucking up the musicians. I guess it's what basically took musicians from being a well-known name to basically the mainstream well-known name. It basically made them establishment musicians and shit. And that's essentially kind of what we're seeing right now. These independent fucking commentators. They're almost like the young rock stars and shit, and basically all these outlets like Daily Wire and whatnot are they're trying to scoop them up, and basically they're going to get them under their wing, and then they have to bow down to the establishment. Then they got to do ad reads, even if they don't agree with the ad reads and shit. And of course, not saying that I think Daily Wire would, like do any like type of woke ad reads or anything like that. But, as we said, the Overton window is completely fucking shifting. And I guarantee you in 10 years or less, the Daily Wire is going to be saying trans lives matter. The trans rights, the human rights. You got like I say, basically, stay independent, stay principled. And as we kind of saw with the whole music industry, you don't need these fucking gatekeepers. After the whole Napster and shit like that, that's when fucking things like SoundCloud and all the fucking people were getting famous off of MySpace, all that shit. And basically people could be independent and then just go set up fucking little tours and shit like that, sell merch, and basically they don't need to do contracts no more. They could fucking produce their own shit. Motherfuckers could produce their own shit in a kitchen, And it's really like I said, just stay independent. If you want to have morals, if you want to actually stand up for something, if you want to be principled about something, definitely stay independent.
Yeah, and definitely go. Like I said again, alt tech's going to pay off in dividends as far as that's concerned, because with the Overton window shifting left, so does the terms of services with all the social media platforms, and you can literally get banned, and they'll never tell you why for something you didn't even know was against terms and services that they changed yesterday.
Right. So actually, speaking on that subject, you wanna talk about a digital bill of rights, because Trump was proposing a digital bill of rights, and we were chatting a little bit about that yesterday. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Obviously, I believe it's a good thing, and the spiel he came out and gave regarding that was one of the best I've heard him say in a while.
Yep. So here's where like I said, I brought up the issue yesterday is it's unless Trump does it, by executive fiat, which of course is only going to be during the time that he's president. Basically, he's going to have to work with the Democrats, and he's going to have to get the people below to kind of draft this thing up, right? So basically, as we know, the Republicans tend to put out the fucking good ideas, and then the Democrats tend to fucking execute them and shit, So basically, the problem with that is, I believe that a digital bill of rights, especially in the current political atmosphere right now, especially in the complete anti-fucking liberty and basically anti-freedom movement going on the left right now in the Democrat Party. Essentially, I think a bill of rights, during the time of executive fiat would be fucking awesome, of course, because they'd be written by Trump. But I believe an overall long-term bill of rights would be a lot more restrictive than it would be freeing, in my opinion. What you think?
Obviously, like you said, I believe it would have to be at least somewhat of a bipartisan situation for it to, to make any actual change and be long-lasting. Like you said, Trump doing it by executive fiat would be, hilarious, and it would be a couple of years of probably just unbridled, internet shenanigans. But I believe as soon as he left office, it would be removed immediately.
Oh yeah,
by the incoming regime there. And I honestly, I don't even know if he would be able to pull it off fully with an executive fiat. But something needs to give. Like I said, being able to be on what's considered the public square at this point. Obviously, I'm talking Twitter, and to be removed without any reasoning, zero communication, anything like that. And it's absolutely ridiculous, especially when the courts block Trump from blocking people because of him being a sitting president. And they're like, you can't block on the public square, but yet they can remove you for arbitrary reasons. So definitely something needs to give.
Right. What kind of stuff do you think would be included on a digital bill of rights? Other than, of course, things like you can't be removed for stating your opinions and things like that. Other than that, like what type of shit do you think would be included in a digital bill of rights?
Obviously, biases. I would assume, regarding the sharing of your personal information, that would obviously be an optional thing. How they pretend it to be now,
Right.
They actually give it a little teeth. You know what I mean? And as far as that's concerned, I'm afraid at the same time because both sides have their large amount of pearl clutchers.
Hmm.
So I'm afraid there will be some type of restriction on speech, that they'll agree upon. You know what I mean? Without
Yep.
equivocations, and anything that could be construed as anti-Semitism or the old white supremacy's fucking nickname there, right? It will be used in some way, shape, or form. So I do believe it'll include that.
Right. So another one thing that I kind of worry about is okay, so I don't know. I hate to fucking say it, but the argument is true. These platforms are private companies, right? And basically,
To an extent.
would a digital bill of rights essentially, make it to where you have to include certain content on your website? You can't remove certain, like I say, that would be kind of restrictive because again, if the Dems get a hold of this, you have to put a fucking pride flag on your website. You have to fucking let LGBTQ fucking groups talk to your children about fucking sexual identities and shit. Like you have to do that's the one thing that I worry about, because really, a lot of these, like I say, as much as I hate to fucking say it, because it does kind of give them authority to ban you and shit like that for shit that they don't like. But truth be told, they are private companies. Well, I guess, the publicly shared ones and shit, those ones, I guess, could be more regulated.
Well,
I guess,
not only that, I mean, Twitter right now is a private company, but beforehand it was being paid by the FBI to censor you. So
right,
that's the exact opposite of a private company. You know what I mean?
right,
Facebook has took millions and millions of dollars in government subsidies. Again, that comes you're paying for Facebook regardless if you want to or not, in more than one way. The one being, like I just stated, them taking subsidies. The other being the fact that their true product is your personal information, regardless if you give permission for it to be used or not. You
right.
know what I mean? So to me, that makes it a not private entity.
Right. I mean, that also does kind of go back a little bit to the Bigcon thing, because as you mentioned, it's not just the Democrats that want to restrict your freedom of thought. I mean, the Republicans would love to do it just as much. Just, they want to do it on the opposite end and shit, and essentially, free speech is free speech. Free speech should be open to everybody. And essentially, with all these government entities coming in and basically paying these private companies to silence people that essentially speak out against them, do you think that could work in both directions? I mean, because as you know, the libertarian movement is not the Republican movement. It's not the conservative movement. They're not the same. They have a lot of the same principles and stuff like that, but they're very much not the same movement. And I don't know. Do you think they Bigcon as well as fucking these left wing government entities and shit would both kind of get in cahoots together to just like, wait a minute, these guys are talking about, abolishing stuff. These guys are talking about limiting our power, to try and silence more of those people. And basically it's a two-party system. So, well, they're not silencing my party. They're not silencing my party. Cool.
Yeah, I think I'll take some flack for this right now, but I think the only conservatives left in government are the America First Caucus.
Right.
Take it for how it is, whether you agree with each one of them or dislike some or what have you. Those are the only true, conservatives. So they are vastly outnumbered, without even counting the liberals in there. The libertarian aspect, I mean, dude, it's such a minuscule portion of anything that you might as well not even include them in the conversation. You know what I mean? And I do believe exactly what you're saying, that if it gets to that point to where they're able to put one out and then people agree with it and they see, hey, these people are talking about, abolishing this, that, or a third, and they have the power or the ability to go back and amend it, there are nothing but problems in the future. You know what I mean? But that's the key, is to get the first rendition that's put out there, to not have that in and not have them be able to just amend it at will.
Right.
That it should take, just like any, like the Constitution, it should take 2/3 of government to change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get on to this next one now. So do you think the old Trumpsicles is actually going to return to big tech, because I'll go ahead and post the link in the description below for the article. But I guess Devin Nunes is coming out and saying that's all just a left wing media hoax. That, why would Trump tell MSNBC that he's coming back to fucking Twitter and shit, And I guess that part does kind of make sense. I don't know, but at the same time, he is running a campaign, and so they're basically saying that it's his campaign accounts that he's trying to get on those things, which essentially won't be run by Trump himself. So are we going to get those mean tweets back? According to Devin Nunes, no. So what do you think about that?
I think that could be wishful thinking on Nunes's part, but at the same time, he's in much more close contact than any of us with the old Crumpsicles, so he knows better. And we also, like we were talking about the other day, we're everyone's speculating on whether there is a restrictive contract in place or not, if this is strictly Trump's choice or if he's legally bound to truth. And then in that speculation, I'm sure you as well have heard different renditions where several people are saying that there's a clause in said contract that while he's campaigning, he can post on other platforms, right?
Right.
I think that it would be better probably for both of their pockets if he were to just stay on truth and do his thing. But for his campaign and his personal outlook, he's missing out on his actual audience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even think there's as many users on truth in total than people that have already followed the unlocked Trump Twitter account that he hasn't even posted on yet.
Right. And at the same time, all these people on truth, they're fucking voters in the pocket. They're not even considering any other fucking candidate. It's like these people are not the people he needs to pander to. I guess it's the motherfucker needs to get back on Twitter. He needs to get back on fucking stating some fucking hard facts. He needs to get back to hurting some feelings, and basically he needs to get back to stating the truth to fucking Twitter, right? And I mean, essentially, that's really the best fucking thing that he could do for his campaign, because as we know, it's those snappy fucking, it's those basically, the fucking Trump lines, the Trump one-liners and shit, like fucking, you'd be in jail, all that type of shit that basically gets everyone like, that's the fucking dude right there, and that's not going to come from a campaign team. That is only going to come directly from off the fucking top of fucking the old Trumpsicles fucking orange fucking noodle up there, and so that's basically, that, like, if he truly, I mean, which of course, there's no doubt in my mind that he truly wants to be president again, that motherfucker needs to get back on Twitter himself,
That falls back again what we were just speaking on with the big tech, Bigcon situation, though. You got people that have literally threatened violence, doxed Elon Musk, yada, yada, that are still on or have been reinstated, right? And they reinstate Trumpsicles, who we all know is the Orange Devil and set off the worst attack on American history. Right. But, you got people that just express dissenting ideas that are still permanently banned off of what, again, would be considered the public square with all your sitting politicians, and obviously very well could be your future president again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Asinine, man. But, I think, if Elon allows the links to continue to be, linked out on Twitter, that could be a huge step in building truth up even larger, would be to link truth with all his tweets. But yeah, I feel you. That's exactly what we need is some mean tweets, some zingers, and in between there, post these little intimate fucking, speeches that he's putting out right now.
Right, because dude, these speeches are killing it. Like these speeches are just exactly what the people want to hear, what the people need to hear, and exactly what needs to happen. What needs to take place in order to get our economy and our American way of life back on track. All right. So, speaking of the whole public square thing, do you think the whole fucking X app is going to eventually revolutionize the internet, and basically, like he says, he wants to bring everything all into basically one app. Basically, I don't know. I think that'd be basically the perfect way to actually institute a digital bill of rights, because it's basically, I don't know. Again, I don't like things being centralized. I really, really don't like things being centralized, but at the same time, that'd probably be the only way that I think a digital bill of rights could actually work without, having to be too far overreaching into these other private companies, rights,
I got mixed views on it, because while the X app, it does sound cool, right? Theory and whatnot, but it's also modeled after, a Chinese app that literally monitors everything, their population does for their social credit score. You know what I mean? Right. So you got that aspect. And then, like I just said, he's talking about removing the ability to post exterior links onto Twitter. But yet, if you read about what the initial concept of the X app was, it was to connect other apps to it.
Right.
Other social media apps. So you can't share a link, but you can fucking connect your Minds app to Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, he still has legitimate fucking platforms labeled as dangerous sites. Try to link to BitChute. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's really, obviously because he wants to make sure he gets his cut. He wants to make sure that, okay, like, yeah, you could, be connected to the X app. You're going to be fucking underneath the X app, though. You're going to be under our wing. You're going to have to basically, you could have a seat at the fucking board and shit, but, basically, we got your company now if you want to be on the X app and shit, I mean, granted, yes, what
he wants to be Google, he wants to be Apple,
right? Yeah,
where they control speech and remove you from the fucking platform, right. And fucking
yep. Just because at the moment, he seems virtuous and things like that. He seems like free speech fucking champion and all this and that. Don't get anything fucking twisted. He is a fucking businessman and he is a fucking a brutal one. He's literally as you guys just saw, fucking completely came in and fucking hostile takeover of fucking Twitter. Like, if that's not fucking brutal fucking business tactics, I don't know what the fuck is, And
not to mention, like, I know we all like to laugh about it and shit, but I mean, dude, I'm permanently banned on there, man.
Right.
Since Elon took over, and all I did was post memes and reply to sitting politicians.
Right. It's and again, isn't it like your whole IP address too? Like, you can't even make a new account. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Completely fucking blocked. No fucking reasons why. Of course, that's the whole Twitter thing. They just, they say, oh, you're banned. They don't give you any reason, anything like that,
No strikes, no nothing. Just one day, just pow, your shit's gone permanently. Smell you later.
Right. And again, that's where the digital Bill of Rights would kind of come into play, as basically can't be doing that type of shit. But I don't know, how do you think a digital Bill of Rights would end up working with all these like different bots and shit like that? Like, what if would a digital Bill of Rights set up work for someone that has 50 different accounts and something like that? I guess how would you ban something like that? How would you be able to extend all those rights to all those 50 different extensions of a single person? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, I mean, obviously they have control, to see your IP address, like you just mentioned. So unless they're using a VPN with a different IP for every account, I mean, you'd think it would be halfway easy to identify that issue. Not to mention, like, this guy's supposed to be this, super genius, and if not, or still has a whole team of super geniuses that work under him. Right. I mean, you'd think they'd be able to come up with the software that would be able to detect something that's repetitively posting the same type of trash, man. Right. I mean, there's got to be ways to detect on whether it's bots or not. Right. And yeah, of course, I mean, I guess it would almost be asinine, right? But because of the term digital, you'd have to stipulate that doesn't apply to goddamn, empty bot accounts.
Right. Yep. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy shit, that's going to be going on with the internet within these next few decades, dude. It's I don't know whether it's going to be, like I say, more, free for everybody, or whether it's going to be more restrictive for everybody. It's remains to be seen. Generally, anytime, as you guys are very well aware of, that government sticks their fucking dirty little fingers into anything, it usually ends up fucked, though. That's the one thing I'm worried about, man. Fucking a digital Bill of Rights during a Trump era, yeah, dude, sounds like shit's gonna be lit, But then again, like I say, at what point is it gonna be used to be restrictive against people? Yeah,
I mean, and you see, like Sheila Jackson Lee trying to roll out a bill where it literally says in there that you can say what you want unless you're white. You know what I mean? Online,
right?
And then you see what's happening in Canada. The government's paying out double-digit millions of dollars to restrict speech. They have literal 16 teams
Yep.
to restrict speech.
Yep. Don't forget, people, that America is the only fucking bastion in the entire fucking world of free speech. The only fucking place. The only ones. The only place where you could, unless it's to a certain nation or religion. One, just one specifically though. But other than that, you could say whatever you want.
But you have to pay attention. People need to wake up and not just look at the national political stage and look at your local. Like here we have our incoming Democrat governor talking about compulsory speech in government schools. You know what I mean? So, pay attention, man. Be alert. Be vigilant.
Right. So, fucking this next video clip here that we're gonna go ahead and include. It's some wise words from our brilliant vice president that we're super proud of and couldn't be prouder of. She's gonna go ahead and explain.
Don't downplay her. That's President Harris.
Right. Definitely, yeah. Don't forget, as Biden has pointed out on multiple occasions, that is President Harris. Right? Let's go ahead and check it out, you guys.
America has more than 500,000 miles of transmission lines, enough to wrap around the globe 24 times. These lines connect the power plants where electricity is created to homes and businesses and schools and hospitals across our nation. Think about it. Every time you turn on a light or charge your laptop or plug in your air conditioner or put leftovers in the fridge, you rely on the power delivered by our nation's network of transmission lines.
Fucking brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant, man, dude. I never knew how electricity worked until now, dude. Like, whew, the more you know, right?
Yeah, like I said, she's a regular Nikola Tesla, man. I'm glad I had her break that down for me. I have a completely new understanding about the American electrical grid.
Right. Completely fucking mind-boggling, man. Fucking.
Yep.
Right.
Stunning. # stunning.
Right. Definitely, we got to make sure that we hook those up to some solar panels, though. Renewables.
Yeah. No, and but we won't mention, the battery storage.
Right. Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Right. Shit. You got anything you want to add in, man?
No, like I said, everybody come to BitChute, man. Get our channels on BitChute. Soon we'll have this Reborn channel also there. Just a matter of building up, man. All right, so come with us. See some real free speech on the internet.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, you fucking help share this channel out. Help share all of our channels out. Help us grow again. Definitely helps. Subscribe to us on Rumble, BitChute, all those other places. Once I get to 100 subscribers on Rumble, I'll start going live in the mornings. I'll fucking smoke a bowl with you guys, drink some coffee and shit and bullshit. But of course, you can't go live on Rumble until you've hit 100 subscribers. So let's hit that threshold, and we'll see you there.
Smell you later.
My friends be like, how come you not famous yet? I be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet? That's what I don't understand.